In this video, I'm going to show you my approach on how I take a Logic session from a client, clean it up, and just make sure it's in good shape, ready for mixing. Before we get started, my name is Ed. You're watching Stokes Sounds, and if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. And if you want to support the channel, head over to our website, stokesounds.com. Now let's dive in. I've got a track pulled up here. It's by an artist called Olivia Nicole. It's a cover, and she's just sent it to me completely in raw form. So she's recorded it herself, done the piano herself, and then she gives it to me, and then it's for me just to kind of clean up, just do some editing, and just kind of get it ready to a stage where I'm happy to go ahead and mix it. So let's actually just take a listen to what we're working with.
I was a ghost, I was alone, the witching, kiss okay. Given the throne, I didn't know how to believe I was the queen that I'm meant to be. I lived two lives, try to play both sides, but I couldn't find my own place. Caught a problem child, cause I got too wild, but now that's how I'm getting paid. Could've seen on stage.
So straight away, you know that we're going to have to do some editing. The vocals sound great. There's a few timing issues that we can deal with, but we also just need to take a look at the comps that she's done and flatten them. Now, when people send tracks for me to mix, they sometimes just send a Logic session. A lot of people are working in Logic, so I get a lot of Logic sessions, or they do the stems for me. But in this case, she sent over the Logic session. And so it's my job just to double check everything. All the vocal comps all sound tight and great. A lot of people, when they're doing vocal comping, they're kind of really in the process of recording their own vocals, and I'm hearing very fine details. I'm listening for, have they chopped the breath, or have they cut off a word that little bit too early so they don't pronounce the word. So what I like to do is just solo the vocal. She's used some Valhalla Room reverb. I'm just going to mute that for now. Let's just listen to the actual vocal in solo just in the first part, and let's just double check the comps that she's done.
I was a ghost, I was alone, the witching, kiss okay.
So straight away, she's recorded this well. You can tell, great mic, the vocal recording is good. It's not distorted. A lot of people seem to distort vocals, and it's a right pain, because to be honest, if I get a vocal to mix and it's distorted, yeah, we can use Isotope RX to kind of de-distort kind of thing, or de-clip. But the problem is, it's never really the same as long as it would be if you just kind of recorded it properly. So that's why it's really important to kind of give yourself enough headroom when you are recording. In this case, she's done that, as I can see. But let's actually just now listen and double check these breaths, just magnifying the waveform, and let's just clean it up.
The witching, kiss okay. Given the throne, I didn't know how.
Here we are, there's one.
Given the throne, I didn't.
Can hear, maybe let's bring that here.
Given the throne, I didn't know.
Sounds better to me.
Given the throne, I didn't know how to believe.
Some people ask, do I do the breath before or do I do the breath after? You can see here that I've done the breath before it, but what happens if we bring this here? Maybe it might be more natural going the breath going into the vocal instead of the breath coming out of it.
Oh, how?
Yeah, that sounds better to me, so we'll go with that breath instead.
Know how to believe.
It's like a game trying to find all of these vocal takes where she's done them. You can see here she's kind of done the comp halfway through the breath. Personally, I don't really like that. I think it's dangerous because you can kind of get these double breaths, and it's not really how I like it. So I like to bring this back. Let's now take a listen.
To believe I was the queen that...
Again, it's probably my OCD making everything perfect.
I was the queen that I'm meant to be. I lived two lives, try to play both sides, but
Again, here we can clean that up.
But I couldn't find my own place. Caught a problem child, cause I got too wild, but now that's how I'm getting paid. Could've seen on stage.
There's one there. That's a perfect example. If you listen, it's like the breath's not quite right. It's a little bit hesitant, and that's because the ending was from the other breath. Again, these are very, very small minor details that a lot of you may not really notice or hear the difference. When you're adding compression, EQ, reverb, all of this stuff becomes very apparent when all the processing is on. You've got to remember, this is just raw vocal at the moment.
Could have seen on stage.
Okay, you can see here she's cut the line off slightly. I want to bring that a little bit more.
On stage.
That's better to me. Then what I like to do once that's done, so that's the first part, I like to then create a new audio track and call this comp, bring this down, make a copy of it, and then hide this one. Now the reason why I make a copy of it in case there's a mistake, or later on Olivia's like, oh, can we just change that vocal take? If I flatten this, I haven't saved it or made a duplicate of it, then we're going to run into problems because we're not going to have that vocal take. So it's super important that we do that. So to do that, I just hit Option U, that flattens it, and then I'm just going to highlight this pink. That just shows me I've checked the editing of the vocal comps. Then I go to the next one and we're going to do the same thing again. She had reverb on it. Let's mute the reverb and then let's go and pick the takes again, or not pick them. She's already done that, but just check her edits.
Stage,
Let's keep it on solo.
I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to.
Again, bring that back a little bit.
I'm born to be.
Perfect example, you can see that she's done halfway through the breath. Again, it's just making this all organized. If I get sent stems and someone's done the vocal and they've done kind of these mistakes, now, you know, there are things we can do where we can take a good breath, copy it and paste it into the old breath. But again, it just requires more editing in the mix mode. And when I'm mixing, I want to be creative and focus on the mix. I don't want to be fixing problems. The artist says to me, I've recorded this in Logic. Then I'm like, okay, if you've done it in Logic, just send me the file because I use Logic as well. You know, I will do all of this for them.
We dreaming hard, we came so far now, I believe. We
Bring that back a little bit more.
going up, 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 it's our
Again, bring that to there because finishes the line.
up, it's our moment.
Going in breath, see if that sounds natural. Sometimes you just have to listen to whether it's you take the breath before or the breath that's on the actual comp.
You know together we glowing,
That sounds good to me.
gonna be golden.
And then this one again here.
Oh, up.
Here we've got an issue. Let's see, you know, it doesn't sound wrong what she's done because you can't really hear it, but let's just check the edit.
Oh, up. Oh, up. Oh, up. Oh, up. Up. Oh, up.
Okay, so she's changing the vowel. So that edit is actually, you can tell she's kind of done that on purpose. That doesn't look like a mistake to me.
Oh, up.
She wanted it to extend, the other one finished shorter, so we'll leave that as is. I'm not hearing a click or a pop. There's no issue I'm actually hearing with it, so we'll leave it.
It says, you.
Check this one.
It says, you know I get you so on me.
Is that a double S going on?
Get you so on. Get you so on. Get you so on. Get you so on.
Bring that back a bit.
Get you so on me. Gonna.
That'll be something we can fix again a little bit later on when we come down to clip gaining.
Gonna be golden. Oh,
Starts her breath just there.
hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Oh, hold it. Hold it. Oh, hold it. Oh, I'm done hiding now. I'm shining. That's who we born to be.
Again, happy with that. And then what we're going to do is just create another comp track. Bring that up, flatten it, hide this one. Make that pink. We've got our comp vocal. It's going to bring that here. Now what I'm going to do is just check for any kind of issues within the actual kind of recording itself, whether there's any clicks and pops. And the way that I like to do this is, you know, I've done a video before in Pro Tools, you know, how I approach the RX type of way. What we're going to do now is we're going to do it more of like a manual way that you guys can do if you don't have RX. And then, you know, later on in the video, I will show you an option that how you can use RX within Logic, but let's actually go through it kind of manual way and just listen to kind of any problems that I'm hearing where we can just reduce volume on it and just take it down. Here is just dead audio, so we can kind of cut it, do like a nice fade like that.
I was a ghost, I was alone. The witching, que so que.
Again, dead audio. We can hear kind of some headphone bleed, so we just want to make sure that that's, you know, taken out. Let's hear this. Again, maybe we can highlight this again and kind of go right.
Given the throne, I didn't know.
You got like a Let's bring that down just a little bit. You can see here I've just reduced the gain. I've made a key command, Control Shift arrows.
The throne, I didn't know how to believe I was the queen that I'm meant to be. I live two lives, try to play.
On the play, you've got the big P here. You can see the plosive. We can just bring this down a little bit.
To play both sides.
So this is from where the singer has sang a little bit too close to the mic. We've got a bit of kind of plosives going on.
Play both sides, but I couldn't find my own place.
On place again. Strong P. Bring that down. You know, only a couple of dB. Everything is very kind of minor.
Place. Caught a problem, child, 'cause I got too wild. But now that's how I'm getting paid. But now too wild.
Heard a little kind of electricity. We'll just reduce that a little bit. We could probably take that out.
Why?
That's better. Clean it up. Just take it out. It was some sort of weird kind of artifact.
Too wild.
Make that a bit more of a fade.
Too wild. But now that's how I'm getting paid.
On the getting paid, the gut, there's a little bit of a too much. We're going to reduce that again slightly as well. Again, these are all things that I'm doing just to prepare things for mix. I don't want to have to be doing this sort of tedious work when I'm using plugins.
I'm getting paid. Gotta see on stage.
Again, just do that like this. Let's just have a listen to what we got.
I was a ghost, I was alone. Ha, the witching. Ha, que so que.
On that one as well, we got a little. Here we can just lower that a bit. You don't want to always want to, you know, take it out, because sometimes if you take it out, it kind of misses the kind of the diction on the words, and you've got to be careful with that. The singer will come back and ask for changes and revisions, and you don't want to print it, end up mixing it. They ask for that and you've taken it out. So if you lower the volume, you can always bring that volume back up.
I was a ghost, I was alone. Ha, the witching. Ha, que so que. Given the throne, I didn't know how to believe. I was the queen that I'm meant to be. I lead two lives, try to play both sides, but I couldn't find my own place. Caught a problem, child, 'cause I got too child, 'cause I got
A little bit too much on there. Okay, bring that down. Again, we just clip gaining. And there was one here.
'Cause I got too wild.
Let me just bring this one a little bit more.
Too wild. But now that's how I'm getting paid. Gotta see on stage.
That's sounding good to me. And then we go to the next one that we got here, and we do the same kind of thing. You can hear all of that breath. Sorry, not breath. You can hear all that kind of background music that we just do not need.
I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like a ball, like a ball.
On the K again. We just want to get a nice smooth vocal.
Like I'm born to be. We dreaming hard, we came so far now, I believe.
Again, we can make a cut there to take some of the background noise out. You know, a lot of singers, they like to have their headphones loud. It's always my battle as a engineer. It's always like, guys, can you turn your vocals down, turn your headphones down? And, you know, singers like it loud. It's always that battle, but we can take it out here.
We going up, up, up. It's
Again, too much of a P on there. Again, on the up, it's just like air, so
up, up. It's our moment. You know, together we glowing. Gonna be good.
let's just do these two as well. Just lower them.
Gonna be golden. Oh, up, up, up.
Oh, there's a big spike here. You can see.
You know I get you so warm. Gonna be
And the goes again. Take these two down. Here.
gonna be good.
Because I always find that, you know, if you're listening in headphones, earphones, AirPods, those kind of parts of words kind of, well, they give me headaches. When I'm listening to a singer and I'm hearing ba, ka, ta, cha, and it's like right in your ear, it's kind of annoying and it can ruin songs. So for me, it's really important that you do this cleanup beforehand.
Oh, I'm done.
And by the way, doing this kind of process will increase your mixing skills 10 times more than buying the latest plugin, because I don't care how expensive or what plugin you're using on a vocal. If you have those things in the vocal, it's still going to be there no matter what you're doing. And so don't forget the most basic processing and the most simple, and not using any third-party plugins.
I'm hiding now, I'm shining like I'm born to be. Oh, our time, no fears, no lies, that's who we're born to be.
You can cut that dead audio there, like this. And that to me is now, you know, a clean vocal. And you're probably thinking, well, I haven't taken any breaths out. Now, depending on the song, if it's more an electronic song, I'll go crazy on just reducing the breaths. But with a song like this, it's, you know, it's a cover, it's an acoustic version with a piano. And to me, the breaths are going to create that character. And the reason why I'm not taking breaths out in this case at this stage now is because I want to be able to have that emotion later on. And sometimes it's hard to know how loud the breaths need to be at this early on in the process. When I start adding plugins, when I start adding compression, when I start adding reverbs, delays, and all of that sort of stuff, then it will be more obvious to me kind of how low to make the breaths. And sometimes on certain words, you may want the breath louder to create more intensity on the lyric that they've said. So it's always about kind of push and pull and knowing when to do something and when not to do something. And it's kind of one of those lessons here where it's like, I could quite easily just take the breaths and lower them all 6 dB. I could. That would be fine. But I want to push this mixer the extra mile and go, well, actually, maybe on going into the chorus, it only needs to come down a couple of dB to have the breath still quite loud to create that emotion within the song itself. So they are the kind of the small things that a lot of people miss out and they forget about when they mix. And that creates that human element, and for it to not sound too processed, yet very processed. As I mentioned, I've done all of that without using RX. Now, the next stage that I do like to do things is to use RX, usually mouth declick, declick, or deplosive. But in this case, I wanted to show you the manual way. So we don't need to use a deplosive because I've taken it out via clip gain. Clicks and stuff is a little bit harder to take out if you don't have RX because it's just way quicker. And sometimes if the click is within the audio itself, it is very hard to kind of get that kind of in a natural way. And that's why RX is so successful, because it really is one of the only plugins that you kind of can do that with. Now, I've already done a video on RX on a previous video, which I will link here. You'll see it on the screen. And that goes into more detail of RX. If I had RX and I wanted to do my mix prep in just an RX the quick way, you can go up to functions in Logic and you can apply selection-based processing. Now, selection-based processing is a bit like Audio Suite in Pro Tools, where I can add my RX mouth declick and RX declick. Let's do RX 10, the latest one, or I think it might be RX 11 now if I'm not wrong. RX 10 declick. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn them both off and let's have a listen, and I'll try the mouth declick first. If that doesn't work, then I'll go to the declick and I just push and pull between the two. The mouth declick and the declick are very kind of similar, slightly different algorithms. So sometimes it will work better with a declick, or it might work better with a mouth declick, but you just have to experiment and see what is going to work on that particular part. So we're going to just solo the vocal again. And let's just go through, and I don't want to do it on everything because it can add some weird artifacts in the processing. I just want to do it on the parts where I'm hearing it, not trying to fix problems that are not there.
I was a ghost, I was alone, the witching, que so que. Given the throne, I did.
Heard a mouth click on throne, so we're going to highlight that, and we're going to do the mouth click. And we're going to hit apply, and let's see.
The throne, I didn't know.
Okay, it had a click because I didn't put my crossfades in. Let's have a listen now.
The throne, I didn't know.
Oh, let me just push this one back a bit.
The throne.
So I heard one here.
Throne,
on the throne, so I'm just going to make a cut there. I'm going to glue them together, those edits.
Given the throne,
And then I'm going to do, let's try mouth declick. Now let's just see if I output the click only, we're going to just have what the mouth declick is going to take away. There you are, you heard it, this thing here. That's a click there. If I zoom in, it's taken 2 clicks. I know that there is clicks there because I've just checked it. So I'm going to Command Z it and I'm going to go back. I'm going to untick the output clicks only, highlight it again, apply. And now I know that those clicks have now gone out. So what I was hearing, I've just confirmed by visually looking at it as well.
given the throne, I didn't know.
Perfect. That's sorted.
Oh, how to believe I was the queen that I'm meant to be. I live to lies, try to play to lies.
I heard one here as well. Shall we double check that I've got it right? Output clicks only, apply. Did I get it right? Is there one?
Try.
No, that was a place where I got it wrong. Maybe I felt like I heard something. This is where I might check it with D-click. Let's just do that again. Apply. And no, there isn't anything. So we don't need to do anything. So it's just good just to check things.
To lies, try to play both sides, but I
heard a click here.
both sides, but I couldn't find my own place. Caught a problem, child, 'cause I got too wild. But now that's how I'm getting. But now that
I'm sure there's one there. Again, we can do the output D-click this time only. Let's try that. Hit apply. Yep, and it's picked up one here. You can see here, it's where it's picked up a few. If I boost again, this is what it's taken out. They're the clicks in that. So Command Z it. I'm going to now highlight it to the output clicks off and apply, and it's taken those clicks away for me. The more you use it, the more you don't have to double check it, but just, you know, for this demonstrational purposes, I'm just showing you what I'm actually taking out so you can hear it.
now that's how I'm getting paid. Gotta see on stage.
That process is then what I would do for the second part of the song. Once that's done, that's when I would then start putting this into Pro Tools and start doing all the timing and all the mixing and kind of doing all the editing on the breaths if it needs it. But whenever I get a session from clients, I always start like this within whatever session they're in. Usually it's either Logic or Pro Tools. If they're not in either of them, then I will ask for stems. Then I will just kind of go into the edit. I'll edit it probably in Logic because I really like the editing in Logic, but I'll always mix in Pro Tools. So that's kind of my process and what I do, and I think it's important to do this stage before you mix because, you know, maybe do it on a different day. So if you know you're going to be mixing this, let's say tomorrow, do it today, for example, because it just means that your mindset is going to be in a much better kind of way when you're mixing it, because you don't want to slow down. I don't know about you, but when I mix and I kind of go for it, I could spend, you know, an hour mixing and realize, wow, an hour has just flown by. You know, of course, it's good to take breaks and it's good to kind of get a different perspective on the mix and see a new perspective after taking a break. In my head, it's like, this is kind of fixing problems here. And I really don't want to be fixing problems when I'm in my mixing mindset. So really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys learned something. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And if you've got any questions about, you know, my process and approach and how I'm doing it, then definitely ask in the questions below and I'll get back to all of you. Also, don't forget I'm running Stokes Sounds Academy now, so definitely get yourself booked in for that. Check all the links in the description below, and that's it from me this week, and I'll see you again next week for another video.